Hi friends, it's Aubrey. In today's video, we are doing some pantry cooking. So I'll be showing you a before of my kitchen and an after, as well as giving you some meal ideas that you can use for your family. And I hope you enjoy. I'm first gonna show you a little before of my pantry. I am pretty well stocked on a lot of things right now, and so I'm hoping that we'll be able to come up with some good meals for my family for this week. And while I'm in here, I'm gonna grab some of the ingredients that will help me make dinner for tonight. And of course, the pantry's open, so the dog comes over thinking something's gonna drop or fall for him. Nothing did, but we love him. He's a great, good boy. And we're going to grab some pasta sauce and some noodles. We also have some ground beef in the freezer that can get used. And I'm going to also grab this roll that we got from a meal box kit that we didn't end up using. And we also have some asparagus. So we're going to make some garlic bread with some spaghetti and asparagus on the side. And here's just a little glimpse into my fridge and freezer as well. And we're going to just follow, the normal method of making spaghetti, salting our water, waiting for it to boil. And then I'm going to finish off this box of rotini pasta. And then I'm going to get my asparagus cooking in a small pan on the stove. I just do a little bit of oil, salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder. And if you like other seasonings or you want to make it a little bit spicy, you could add in some red chili flakes or crushed red pepper, whatever sounds good to you guys. And then I'm just going to let this saute. For this dinner, I was just making some for myself and for my daughter. My husband wasn't home, so that's why it doesn't look like very much food. And then with the garlic bread, I got a new air fryer for my birthday and I love it. I'll go ahead and have this one linked down below for you guys if you are in the market for a bigger air fryer that has a window. This one is amazing. And so I just went ahead and got the garlic bread going in my air fryer. And I did it for about 2 minutes and I just had some butter and garlic powder on the bread. And then once the noodles were all done, I drained those and added in my sauce. I also like to add in some additional salt, pepper, and Italian seasoning just to give the sauce some additional flavor. And then I mixed in my ground beef, stirred this all up, and I love quick pasta dishes, even if it's something super simple like spaghetti. It's really inexpensive and it tends to come together very fast and it's easy cleanup and everyone in the family likes it. So for tonight's dinner, I pulled out some, what I'm hoping is cubed beef. It might be strips. It really won't matter either way. But I pulled that out of my freezer and we had some carrots, onions, some celery in the freezer. We also have some farro. It needs to get used up. There's not very much left. Some potatoes and garlic. And I was thinking using all of this to make a beef and barley soup, except for instead of using barley, we are going to use the farro. And I think it'll turn out really well. So we're going to go ahead and get that cooking in the Instant Pot, but we're going to use the slow cooker function. It'll just make it easier cleanup because we're going to want to brown this meat first. So I have my Instant Pot on saute and I'm just going to add a little bit of olive oil and then we'll add our meat. Once the oil is heated up a little bit, then you'll go ahead and add in your meat. Ooh, I try not to get all the blood and other meat juices, but if a little bit goes in, that's okay too. I'm gonna do 2 bags just to get this out of my freezer. And add some salt and some pepper, as well as probably some onion powder and garlic powder just to give the meat some seasoning. We're just gonna let this cook for just a little bit, just so it's brown. And then we'll go ahead and add in our veggies and get those sauteing. And this is looking pretty good. I'm gonna scoot it over and make some room for the veggies. You can also take the meat out. I just decided to be a little lazy today, so we're gonna add in our frozen celery, and then I'm gonna grab the carrots and chopped onions. I used my Ninja food processor to chop the carrots because I do not feel like chopping it by hand. And then I'm going to put in my onion, which I'm also going to use the food processor for. And I will use this Ninja food processor to measure the liquid, just to make sure I get all of the carrots and onions in here. They won't all be sauteed, but I'm gonna get as much out of here as I can, and then we'll make sure to get the rest with the water in just a little bit. I'm gonna add in about 6 cloves of garlic. I'm just using the kind from the jar. And I know I'm already making some changes with the farro, and instead of the cubed meat, we have the strip meat, but I'm gonna just use chopped potato just to give it some additional texture. I know the recipe that I'll have linked for you guys, it talks about using shredded potatoes. You can definitely do that, but I'm trying to feed quite a crowd and just want to make sure we have enough to go around for everybody. So we're just going to add in about 2 golden potatoes. And then we're going to add in 6 cups of beef broth and 1 cup of water. I'm going to use a bouillon powder, so I'm just going to fill this up with some water, and then we'll add in the powder in just a minute. Gonna add in 6 teaspoons approximately of this beef broth powder. We'll give it a good stir, and then we'll add some additional seasonings. Next, I'm gonna add in 2 bay leaves. Mine are a little broken up, but it'll work out just fine. And then we're also gonna add in about a half teaspoon of dried thyme. I'm just gonna kind of eyeball that. And then we'll add in some additional salt and pepper. This is definitely to taste. And typically what happens is that it gets undersalted or underseasoned just because there's so much of it and it's hard to kind of guess. So I'll always have salt and pepper at the table. But the recipe calls for about 2 teaspoons of salt. Just gonna get everything a really good stir, and then we'll go ahead and put the lid on and turn it to the slow cooker function. And we're gonna cook this on high for 3 hours. We'll just make sure that this is on venting so it will cook properly, and then turn it off the saute function and click to the slow cooker. This means like warm, medium, and high. So what we'll do is just click adjust and move it over to more. It's already set to 3 hours. And about an hour before we are done with the cooking process, I'll go ahead and add in my farro. It takes about 20 minutes to cook, and so I just don't want it to be in there soaking everything up for too long. I don't want it to be mushy, so we'll go ahead and throw that in just a little bit. This is what the soup is looking like after it cooked for about 2.5 hours. And now I'm going to go ahead and add in my whole bag of farro. It's about a cup, but you can use the recipe that'll be linked down below and follow that for exact measurements. But this turned out so good. Everybody in the family liked it, and it also makes really good leftovers, which is another great thing about making a big batch of soup. Something my toddler and I like doing is baking together, and I found this brownie mix, so we're just going to make it together following the package instructions. And we're finally going to get rid of our last egg and all of this cardboard that is taking up space in my fridge, which is very exciting. And this brownie mix was really interesting. It needed melted butter, milk, and an egg. And these actually turned out really good. They're really fudgy, but different ingredients than most of the boxed brownie mixes that I have normally made. But my daughter has so much fun helping me dump in the ingredients and helping me mix everything. And I just really love baking with her. And she also likes helping to make dinner too. But it's been such a fun way to bond with her and teach her some fun skills of how to make food. This batter turned out so thick. Again, unlike any other brownie mix that I've made before, but I just decided to keep following the instructions. So I spread it out into a pan and popped it into the oven, and they came out super fudgy and very thick, but not dense. So if you see this mix, whether on sale or not, it is really good, and I would recommend trying it out. For this next dinner, I made our favorite teriyaki meatballs. I've shown this recipe a few times on my channel already, and so you can make it in the slow cooker or you can make it in the Instant Pot. I'm going to do the slow cooker function in my Instant Pot, just so that way at the end we can thicken it up very easily. But the sauce ingredients are a 1/4 cup of soy sauce, 1/2 cup of pineapple juice, a 1/3 cup of beef broth, a 1/3 cup of brown sugar, a tablespoon of honey, 1 to 2 cloves of minced garlic, a fourth teaspoon of ground ginger, 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, and a tablespoon of cornstarch. So you'll stir this all together. My pineapple juice was frozen, so I just threw it in and let it thaw out while everything was cooking. And then you'll put this over 2 dozen meatballs. I just get mine from Winco. They're about $3 a bag, and I pretty much always have some in my freezer to make this dinner. If you do want it a little bit spicier, you can add in some red pepper flakes or any type of hot sauce. It's really up to you. I also sometimes will add a little bit of salt and pepper as well. And then for this, you can either cook it for 0 minutes on manual pressure in your Instant Pot, or you can cook it on low for about 3 hours. You'll want to keep an eye on it since the meatballs are already cooked. They tend to cook really quickly and be warmed through and ready to go. So this is more of an afternoon kind of prep instead of the beginning of the day prep. You could put it on warm all day though, and that works just fine too. And then for the side, we had some asparagus that still needed to get used up, so we made some of that on the stove. I seasoned the asparagus with some salt, pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder, and I totally just eyeballed it, mixed it together in a little bit of oil, and let that saute for a few minutes until it looked cooked through. Normally, I try and get it a little bit crispy. And then for the meatballs, I normally will put it on saute for a couple minutes just so that the sauce will thicken, and then we serve it over rice. And this is seriously one of our favorite meals to make, and it comes together so quickly, and we pretty much always have the ingredients on hand. For this dinner, I was really trying to clean out some things from my freezer. I didn't do a before for my deep freezer because it honestly didn't change too much, but if you're wanting to see how I got it organized, what kind of bins I used, all of that, I'll have a video linked below and up in the corner of this video for you that I made a few weeks ago where I reorganized that freezer, which has made it way easier to pantry cook from. And so I'm going to use a package of risotto from Trader Joe's and some sausage from my deep freezer. And we're going to cook this according to the package instructions, heat up and brown the sausage in a pan, and then just combine these together. I also had some buns in my freezer that I decided to make some garlic bread with. And this dinner came together in about 15 minutes. I love having really quick and easy dinners in the freezer ready to go, whether that's something that's pre-made or if I make a freezer meal, but just something that will make weeknights a lot easier. And if you haven't tried the risotto from Trader Joe's yet, I highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite products from there. And I'm really glad that we found out that it tastes really good when you add sausage or other meat to it. So this dinner was delicious. Everybody loves it, and it's really fast and easy cleanup too. This last dinner that we made is a honey garlic chicken crock pot recipe. And I used to make this all the time a few years ago. We really like it with thighs. I didn't have any chicken thighs, so I just used some frozen chicken breast that I had in my deep freezer. And I forgot how good and easy this is. Basically, all it is you use about 1.5 pounds of chicken, and then you do a 1/2 cup of soy sauce and a 1/2 cup of honey. You can also sub that for brown sugar. I add a little bit of olive oil, about a tablespoon, and a teaspoon of onion powder, and then 2 to 3 cloves of garlic. Sometimes I add a little bit more than that because why not? And then I normally do about a teaspoon of salt and then about a teaspoon of pepper as well. And then I just let this cook on low. My crock pot's pretty hot, so I think I cooked this for about 4 hours. So depending on how your crock pot is, you may want to cook it for longer or shorter. Just make sure that your chicken comes to temp. We finished off the asparagus and served this with some rice. Definitely going to be adding this back into the meal rotation because it was so easy and delicious. I'm going to show you the before and after comparison of the pantry, freezer, and fridge. So here's what the pantry looked like before, and here's what it looks like after. Honestly, there was not that much of a dent, so I'll definitely need to do some more pantry cooking and pulling things out of my pantry specifically to kind of clean it up. Here's the freezer before and the freezer after. We did pull a few things out of here, but again, not a big dent. And then here is the fridge before and the fridge after. We did make a huge dent in the fridge. I did end up having to buy some more eggs during this because we eat a lot of eggs in our house. But I'm really proud of the progress that we made, and we'll definitely be doing some more pantry cooking in the future, so stay tuned. That's all I have for you guys today. Like I said, more pantry cooking will be coming because we still have a lot of food that needs to get used up. So definitely hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future pantry cooking videos. And I hope you have the best rest of your day. Bye!